Hello everyone, and this is your friendly neighborhood Tenkaichi. And I'm going to do something a little bit different normally that I don't often do, and that's just create a series in which I share my thoughts about what's going on in the news and whatnot. And of course, as you can tell, it is called Tenkai Talk, or the Tenkai Talk, whichever you like to call it, either the Tenkai Talk or Tenkai Talk. But since I don't talk much about the news, I might as well make a day in which I do talk about, current recent events that's happening in the world, because sometimes we don't like it, and other times we have to deal with it. And most times we just ignore it completely. So, I'm going to share my thoughts about certain things that have been happening in the news lately. So, let this be the first. And please be kind to give feedback on this video. Don't just say it sucks or anything. I know you've heard my voice before, but when I'm really in thought about something, let me get my flow going, and once I get my flow going, it's just going to turn out well. So, in the news, rather, we've seen so much talk about Pokemon Go and how it's been a big boon since, what was it, the 90s, just getting kids out to play. Well, Pokemon Go has been such a big boon that just about everybody and their mama are getting into it. But this also leads to a couple of problems. So for instance, I check on my Facebook sometimes, and there are threads and threads about Team Mystic, Team Instinct, Team Valor. You know what that reminds me of? Well, here in California, we have like a couple of gangs called the Crips, the Bloods, and I don't know what they call themselves for the Latinos, but that's what I'm saying. We got Crips, Bloods, and whatever the hell the Latinos are. I mean, they got different names, But for the sake of conversation, we'll just call them Homes. So you got the Crips, the Bloods, and the Homes. Now, what I find so funny is that they talk all the shit about, Valor being the best, or Mystic being the best, or Instinct being the best, and really, it's just stupid. I mean, I get what they're doing with Pokemon Go. Trying to get people out the house. Trying to have them go on walks and whatnot. And of course, have them try to find Pokemon. And I say this, I have no problem with Pokemon Go in the slightest, in that nature in which it is doing a positive reinforcement than a negative. And then you got, the in-between stuff. And what I mean by the in-between stuff is the stupid stuff that many people would do just just to make sure that they want to be noticed. Because as you know, attention whores. Attention whores are just lined up just to be noticed. And with Pokemon Go, well, you know what that means. Now, I'm not so big on trends because I feel, I don't really need a game to help me get out of the house. If I really wanted to get out of the house, I'd wait till sundown. I'd go for a walk. Like I say around 3 or 4 o'clock. But no later than 5. 3 or 4 o'clock, I go for a walk. I take a brisk walk down from 69th Street and walk up to, say, Manchester and Normandy. Or, in this case, I might walk up to Burger King or McDonald's or Subway. I go for a good 30 to 45 minute walk. And it feels good, let me tell you. It really does feel good. Now, I know they're working with, augmented reality and whatnot. But, really, for those who like Pokemon Go, it's fine that you like it. But please remember to be aware of your surroundings. Because we still live in dangerous times. And a lot of the younger generation are so excited that they forget that you have to be aware of your surroundings. You just don't want to just play this and, you're like, I want to catch this one Pokemon. I'm going to catch this one Pokemon. And you're not aware of your surroundings. I was listening to a bit of a video earlier about, Pokemon Go. About how many people there are that will actually go far as to try and catch a Pokemon while in the car and driving, no less. People will go to certain extremes just for this trend. And I could just imagine the next Anime Expo, which will happen from a year from now, next July. I could just see it now. People just like looking around on their phones, and they're trying to catch Pokemon. Or even worse, gang fights break out. Excuse me. Yeah, gang fights break out because of Team Mystic, Team Valor, and Team Instinct. And there's supposed to be a fourth one coming out. I'm not sure if it's a real one or not. It's called Team Harmony. And I had to say this. As a gamer, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? I don't care if it's a joke or whatnot, but seriously, I'm not that big on Pokemon. I don't mind the fact that Pokemon is somewhat becoming big again. But in this case, people are getting much more stupider with this latest installment, which is Pokemon Go. And they're ignoring the fact that, oh hey, this will outright burn out your battery. Well, the AR will burn out your battery. Or the fact that if you have a Google account, it will basically take in every bit of your data and you can hook it up to Pokemon Go. I mean, I have a Google account myself, but my connections are very small. I mean, I have 4 accounts linked to Google. I have my YouTube, my Hotmail, and I think Facebook might be hooked up to that. Either that or Twitter, one of the two. But I do have 4 accounts. 2 social medias, 1 business that's linked to another account, which is to my YouTube channel. The only difference is the password. Now, you can call me old-fashioned. You can call it what you will with this. But I don't see no point in getting a game in which will burn out your battery. All the data that you're going to basically suck up like your freaking Kirby. And on top of that, well, your phone bill. Your phone bill is going to take a massive nosebleed. Because you're doing nothing on the phone except play Pokemon Go. I'm not against the game. And I'm not against the people who play the game. But seriously, in all seriousness, you have to be aware of your surroundings. Because you can very much easily become addicted to a game of that caliber in which you can't put down. I know. I know there are certain games in which I sometimes become just like enthralled in, and then there's some that, I'm not really, into. I'll be honest. When I bought myself Puzzle and Dragons for the Nintendo 3DS, I was hooked on that. Only because of the whole fact that it was a puzzle game. And as time passed, and I gotten better to it, you're starting to pass, you're starting to level and all that, which is good, and it's awesome and whatnot. But you sort of get tired. That's how it is with me. I get tired after playing a game which seems too easy, or it doesn't change, or perhaps I've grown tired of it. That can happen. It's not that I'm bored, but, I want a little something more to the game than just this. And Pokemon is like that. No matter what you're doing, it's like you're doing the same thing. You've been doing the same thing from Gen 1, and now it's Gen 7, I believe. Oh, and let's not forget those who don't understand Pokemon. We're talking about those who call Pokemon evil. I'm talking about religious zealots out there. Some religious zealots would call Pokemon evil because it has nothing to do with the Word of God. Some people call Pokemon evil because, oh hey, it's possessing you. I can laugh at that, really. I could truly laugh at that and just say, if you think that's evil, is it doing any good? I said, I mean, if it's doing so much evil, then how come people are actually getting out of the house and walking, and they're actually looking around their own neighborhood? I can see the positive in that, but I can also see the negative in it too. Because people can easily be careless. They can easily get obsessed with the whole team valor instinct mystic thing. You know, the gang faction thing. I want to put it that way, gang faction. Or the fact that it's a Pokemon game in which they can easily burn their batteries just because you're playing more than just 30 minutes. You're playing for an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3, maybe more. It's almost like any other game that just has a way of sucking you in and you just become a slave to the game. That's what I think. I really think that slowly but surely it might make some people a slave to the game, in which they cannot put down, in which you know, this whole thing, this one little game takes over their life. And that will be a real problem. Because, really, no one game should just not ruin your life, but rule your life, rather. And I don't care what it is, but no game should ever rule your life. It should never be the thing that's like, it is your life, your death, it is the basis of your existence and all that. No, it should not. So that's what's important to me. You know, to me, I play video games for a reason. Most times I play obscure games. If not obscure games, I play cult favorites. If not that, then it's something that I tend to like playing, or want to challenge because, you know, hearsay. It's too hard. It's too this. It's too that. You know, I can't pass this because of A, B, C, D, F, G. Sure. Sometimes I will go by using underhanded tactics because the game can sometimes play unfair with you. And I go by the rule of, if the game doesn't play fair with you, why should you play fair with it? After all, you want to beat the game, not let the game not let the game beat you. Or do the opposite, as I was going to say. We should treat Pokemon Go as what it really is, a game. And you should know that it shouldn't be 100% 365 24/7 days a week, all the time Pokemon. No, you gotta break away from that shit sometimes, you know? You have to. Otherwise you're just gonna be like, zombie! And George A. Romero does not approve of this shit. So, you know, be smart. Don't try and do anything silly as to, say, get so interested in Pokemon to be absorbed into it. Hell, I'll stick with the game series. I'd rather stick with the game series because I know, like, I'm going to be spending 2 hours on it. That's how I am. I know I'm at least going to be spending 2 hours on it, just because I'm trying to find crew members for my team. That's all I'm doing. At the same time, advancing the plot and leveling my characters. Other than that, just treat it what it is, a video game. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. Now, the next thing I really, really want to talk about, and it has been on my mind since, is 3 words that I cannot stand hearing in the media circus. Because all I can say out of it is just foolish fools who like to live foolishly with their foolish lives. I could do an Environment Commons voice, but I'm not going to try to. And those 3 words are Black Lives Matter. Ever have I heard anything so selfish, so ignorant in all my life? Black Lives Matter? That's the biggest joke ever known. Because, let's see, if Black Lives Matter, then how come, if not every day, but every other day, I hear about some gang activity? If not about gang activity, some random black child falls to a bullet, or maybe even something else than a bullet. But most likely, they're the victim of some kind of incident that happens. And then you have this movement that really isn't much of a movement, because y'all kind of late on the uptake. Because, oh hey, we want vengeance, we want justice. Yeah, y'all ain't getting that. I mean, let's go back. I mean, we got people that I ain't never even heard of. And these are people that just were part of the community. Now, it's messed up that people were either shot in cold blood, or they were a victim of somebody's bullet. It doesn't matter what the incident, but you know this world's fucked up. You know this world's all messed up. And I'm not talking about those who are confused about their sexual identity and whatnot. No, it's not even about that. It's more about the fact that, why should one minority matter? You're saying that this one minority out of so many others out there, you're saying that yours matter? Well, let me see. There are a whole bunch of people that died under different reasons. And you're going to say, well, this matters because, yeah, you know what? No. If you're talking about race, you're an idiot right there. You're an idiot. Because it's not about you. We all live on this earth. We're all human beings. All lives matter. Harm none. That's part of my code. Harm none. Everybody is supposed to respect everybody. And even if you don't like the person, you still have to respect them. Respect their way of life. That much has to be said. People have to know how to respect other people. Because if you're talking about this one minority that keeps shooting each other up and they haven't learned a damn thing since, y'all full of shit. Really, y'all full of shit. And this is coming from a black guy. This is coming from somebody who never fell into the crowd of, say, gang activity. I come from not a terrible part of California, but it's not a rough part of California either. It's not a very easy part, but there are times in which, I go take a walk, and very rarely do I see a hotbed of gang activity. But when it does happen, and it often does, I steer clear from it. Let me take you back in time. When I was a kid. Okay? Now I'm like, say, 9, 10 years old. We had a Montgomery Ward. Yes. For those who remember Montgomery Ward, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I remember Montgomery Ward was a part of the big three, I should say a big union of malls. Because the ones I remember back in the day was Fox Hills, Baldwin Hills, Montgomery Ward, because it was a mall in itself, and there was Del Amo, and they all had arcades. Now Montgomery Ward, when it was in business, had an arcade that I believe most kind of remember. It was called Timeout. Timeout Arcade. Now, if you can remember Timeout Arcade, you can remember Aladdin's Castle. Okay, so we once had an arcade, but they closed it down because of gang violence. They shut that down completely. They took out the arcade machines. They took out the skee ball machines. They even took out, the basketballs. The basketball machine. They took everything out. Years later, while growing up, and I can attest to this, Montgomery Ward was out of business. Nobody bought the building. It's just sitting there, taking up moss, and it's a waste. There's no kind of production happening. Just because some dumbass is wanting to basically mess everybody else's fun up because, oh hey, what set you from, fool? People getting killed for no apparent reason. Just because of one street that nobody even owns. And there have been more death over that than anything else, because they feel they have to be the dominant ones. I'll rule this block, nigga. You don't rule shit. Now, we fast forward a couple years to now. We fast forward a couple years, and you've seen what's been going on. We've had riots in California. We've had a massive hotbed of gang activity, and not just in where I live, but it's happening all over. And hell, what was the last big thing that happened to the world? 9/11. That was the last big thing that ever happened to the world. America got shook up for it because of how many lives that were lost on that one flight. And on top of that, the World Trade Center. And you still gonna say that Black Lives Matter? Huh? No. Where was your movement when all this shit was going down? What were you doing? Oh, right. You never existed. And on top of that, why now would you want to show up after how many people died? And you think, oh, well, it's a peaceful movement. No. If it was a peaceful movement, you change your tune right now. Because there was a man by the name of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who actually died for wanting equal rights. And equal rights belong to everyone. That's the problem we have with this generation now. We got too many people bitching and whining over absolutely nothing. Nothing. And they say they want to make a change. Okay, you know what? You really want to make a change? Write a petition. Pass it around your neighborhood, your own community. You don't like what it is? You don't like how things are in your neighborhood? You start up a petition. You pass it around. You say things that you don't like about what's happening to your neighborhood. And then you take it into whoever is in charge of the neighborhood watch. If you have one. But you do something about it. Because starting a protest is not going to help things. Starting a personal war is not going to help things. Taking things into your own hands is definitely not going to help things. I mean, whew. Yeah, I'm getting hot with this subject. To say that one minority matters over everyone else is the most stupidest thing you can ever do as a human being. Because yes, it's a damn shame what happened to colored people. And I mean colored people. I'm talking about Indians. I'm talking about Africans. I'm talking about those of dark descent. Those of dark descent. Those people who even now exist, but they're from a different generation with a different outlook on life. They want to do a change in the world, and that's fine. That's dandy. But I don't think black lives really matter at this point. Because we're all made in God's image. We're all human. We have different skin. We all have different skin color. But we're all men and women. We're all human beings. And that is one race that will never change. That is one race that will never change as long as we live. But we have to rise above the influence of everything that goes on. You have to rise above being stupid, ignorant. Yeah, there's a difference between being stupid and ignorant. Being stupid, being ignorant, being selfish, being vindictive, and all this other negativity that I can think of. You gotta do better than this. You gotta do better than this. It's not that one life should take precedence over another life, all because of skin. It's silly. It's stupid. It should not happen. But we let it happen because, it needs to be said that this one race matters. No, every race, every minority in this world that has ever existed, regardless of what happened in the past, we're all here because it happened. Can't do anything about it, and don't want to do anything about it. Don't need to do anything about it. The only thing we can try to do is get along with each other. See, we want to really make a change, we have to get along with each other. A greater injustice is happening, and we're not hip to the jive about it. We're so busy with everything else that we just tend to forget, hey, this is about this, and this is about this, and I don't like you because of this and this and this and this. This that sort of thing. Stupid shit. And it doesn't make no goddamn sense. And most times, we're pissing away our future. We, as a whole, are pissing away our future. It's like earlier, I wasn't even thinking about my book until Ryu decided to make a video about it. And I said, no, my book is about this and it's about this. And I kind of corrected myself when I said it was the third and fourth books are about the grandparents instead of the parents, and the other two books will be about the parents instead of the grandparents. But when it comes out, and when I have it going through the usual suspects, get copyright for it and all that, yeah, I plan to do that. But in all sense of the word, I have bigger issues at hand than just, worry about what one person is, their skin color. I can get along with most people. And well, my friends of the RCO are of different races. And I look at them as the same. We're all gamers. That's what I see. We're all gamers. Screw the fact that we come from different parts of the world. Hell with that. We all come from different parts of the world. We come from different parts of the U.S. most times. U.S. and Canada. But I don't look at them like how other people see them. I look at them as, one of my own. People that will just ride, they will go ride or die. They will go ride or die with me. They will stand by my side. I will in kind protect them. And I will destroy anybody who want to basically bash them, destroy their character. Because they would do it for me. They would actually go into battle for me. They will go into battle for me. They would take the helm, and they would kick the ass of many who would stand in my way. In turn, that's what I do. You watch my back, I watch yours. It's as simple as that. That's what people should do. It's a thing about camaraderie. Most people don't get camaraderie. And camaraderie is a very rare thing. Just like restoring a car. It's a very rare thing. Because we can get along. And sometimes we just feed off each other's energies. Like, if there's something wrong with me, then in kind, they try to turn whatever negative I have in me to a positive. And as strange as it is, it usually works. But getting back on point to what I'm talking about, all this stuff about all Black Lives Matter, no. You have to rise above that shit. Rise above the influence of what is considered to be closeness to racism and prejudice. You have to rise above it. Otherwise, if we're not careful, our world is going to blow up out of stupidity, if it hasn't done so already. And thank God it has not blown up from stupidity. So, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. Even though I could be talking about something else, but those two in mind, I just had to share my thoughts about it. So, if you have anything you really want me to talk about, please share in the comments below. In the comments below. Let me hear your feedback about what I've talked about, or if you have something to add to it, or perhaps, you want something for me to talk about. And hey, who knows? Maybe next week, I might want to share my thoughts about it. And who knows? I might have a guest with me. Never know. So until then, I have been your friendly neighborhood Tenkai. And with that, Senpai's blessings upon y'all. Be safe out there. Be good to each other. And I'll see you next time with more videos. So until then, take care. God bless. And Tenkai Musou.